extra time here on Fox's Hub. We're here for an hour to talk about Leicester City, their victory at the weekend over Watford, some other bits that have gone on in the Premier League and the Championship across the weekend and the wider footballing world. We'll also preview the game on Wednesday against Sheffield Wednesday. The four guests will go head-to-head, and you guys at home can also have a go at our Lurdle. Let's get our guests introduced, though. Iwan Roberts, as ever, my co-host on these Monday evenings. You come all the way up again to the Midlands like you always do every Monday, and it's always an easy drive when Leicester have won.
It's always a pleasure coming up to the King Power on a Monday night, seeing Tags, seeing yourself.
Bringing chocolate treats.
I like to treat people every now and then, spread a bit of festive joy or whatever they call it. And it makes it so much easier when the boys have won at a weekend.
Absolutely. Tony Cottee, good evening to you. Now, we can see you, Tony, but I'm aware that you can't see us, which is, you're probably quite lucky, actually, and glad that that's not the case.
I think I've had a result, Dan. Yeah, I can hear you. And is it Tags who's with you? Is it Tags, is it?
It is, mate.
Evening, boys. Yeah, evening, boys. How you doing? Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Yeah, I had a little bit of work on Saturday and then a nice easy day Sunday. And as you quite rightly said, Dan, it's always easier after the previous couple of results. It's always easier to talk about Leicester when they won a game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were here, Gerry. You weren't on co-commentary either, which you were pleased about. You prefer to do the punditry-based stuff, don't you, in the studio?
I'm not bothered one way or the other. But yeah, it was a nice change, that's all. Trying to get that big buffoon out the door to do a game. Elliot, anyway, Tony, just going back to you not being able to see us, there's no festive faces on this screen, mate, so count yourself lucky you can't see us. But yeah, great, another great result on Saturday. Just bringing that feel-good factor back.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are watching us either on Facebook or on YouTube, do get your comments into us. Get your questions, if you want, to the guys. Raymond Tolerico says, good evening, lads, also known as Bubba, by the way, Gerry. So you've got your wingman back. Evening, lads. Missed you last week. And Jikan says, it's amazing. Whenever we get the ball into their backs and behind the line, Jamie Vardy looks very dangerous, as he did in that last 15 minutes. He could have had 4 or 5, couldn't he, Jamie Vardy? We'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, to get back to winning ways was obviously the aim, and that's what they did.
When you've had that disappointment of losing 2 consecutive games against good sides, to not score in either of those 2, probably the international break came at a good time for the club. Unlike Watford, who had lost in 6 before Saturday's game. And it was a good weekend when you think it started well on Friday night when Leeds went up to when did they go up? Oh no, they went down. The geography's not very good, Tags. Went down to Rotherham, 1-1 there. When you think only West Brom in the top 6, apart from Leicester, of course, won at the weekend, and that wasn't a bad result because they beat Ipswich at the Hawthorns. So all in all, back to winning ways. 7th clean sheet of the season. The defence have been outstanding. Yet to concede more than 1 goal in a game. Jamie Vardy, 162 league goals for the football club now, with the 2 that he got on Saturday. Back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you put it in the context of the Friday night and then the late game on Saturday between West Brom and Ipswich. Then it just sort of puts things into perspective how important that game was after after coming off the back of 2 defeats, 2 tight games as well. And on Saturday, I thought Leicester were fully in control for the whole 90 minutes. Watford have been on a good run, as Ewan said, but I think they'd only beat 1 team out of the bottom 6 or 7 in that run. Am I correct in saying that? They'd only got a result out of 1 team that weren't in the bottom 5 or 6 in that run. So obviously coming to Leicester.
Only conceded 3 goals in those 6 games, though, so they tightened things up defensively, to be fair.
Without a doubt. And you could see that, especially in the first half of the game where they got bodies behind the ball, made it difficult for Leicester. But Leicester just up the ante in the second half. The tempo of the game, the crispness of their passing was a lot better in the second half, and it was inevitable, like you say. Soon as Jamie Vardy comes on, he's getting the service he wants and desires, and sooner or later, the ball's in the back of that, even after, he's missed a good chance.
On Facebook, Stuart says, evening all. Neil says, evening all. It's great to win again, and it's great to see the GOAT get a brace. And I'm sure whenever you see Jamie Vardy scoring goals, Tony, it pleases you. And hopefully, from a Leicester point of view, we get to see it many more times this season.
Yeah, he still knows where the goal is, Dan, doesn't he? And I think the best and most important thing about Jamie's 2 goals wasn't the 2 goals. It was the way he reacted after missing. Dan, I only saw the highlights. It sounded like he had a chance before he missed the left foot volley, which obviously 3-4 yards out. And the reaction from Jamie, I thought was sensational, because he actually tried to punch himself in the mouth, didn't he? Because he knew, and it's the most, you and I know what I'm talking about. It's the most horrible feeling as a striker when you get a chance like that and you put it over the bar, or you miss kick it, or you just do something really, really stupid, which he did. You don't mean to do it, but it happens. And you are so annoyed with yourself. And like I say, you see that picture of Jamie sort of trying to almost punch himself. But the pleasing thing about it is the reaction from it, because a lesser forward would not have been in the position to get the tap-in that he got for his first goal. The penalty was the penalty, but the tap-in, because a lot of players, they miss chances, they switch off, they're sulking, they lose interest in the game, they go missing. Not Jamie Vardy. He just keeps putting himself in those positions. And like I say, the reaction from the missed chance that I just thought it was a wonderful reaction from Jamie. We come to expect it, don't we? We've spoke about it so many times. You just expect him to score the goals. But after missing what was an absolute sitter for Jamie Vardy, I thought his reaction was superb.
Yeah, Lisa says, Tony, that it's a brilliant win and Vardy is a hero. The fact is he never lets the team down. And I guess there was probably a little point where people thought maybe he had let Leicester down with the couple chances that he missed, and then he steps up and he does what he does. And like you said, that's all about how strong he is mentally to recover from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about putting yourself in the positions to miss them as well. Because strikers of a lesser ilk, they wouldn't be in that position in the first place. The ball gets crossed and they're standing on the 18-yard box, or they're out on the right wing. Not Jamie. He's always in that position. We've seen him score sensational goals over the years, but he's always in a position as well where he can get the tap in. He makes great runs to the near post. He's arrived at the far post for that one, and he's just got it totally and utterly wrong. Which it happens. He's a normal person. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make errors. You're not going to sometimes put it in the back of the net. But fair play to him to keep getting in the position, to keep having a desire at the age. What is he? 36 years of age now. To keep putting yourselves into those positions and that. And his career at Leicester has been nothing short of sensational. And he just keeps popping up the goals. And Leicester needed it as well. Because it was really important to bounce back after the 2 defeats. Let's not forget as well, Rajovic could have scored early on. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a really poor miss as well. He should have scored, and that would have changed the complex of the game. So it was really important that Jamie got those goals.
I mean, TC mentioned there he's 36, but his anticipation and reaction is still unbelievable. And I think the goal, his first goal, is harder than the chance that he missed with his left foot, because he's reacted so quickly. It sort of bounced a foot in front of him, and he's had to guide it in with his studs. And believe you me, that is a hard finish. And I know he's just inside the 6-yard box, maybe on the 6-yard line, but it's still a hard finish. And the one that he missed, he probably thought that he'd already scored. I mean, who stood the ball up at the back post? Was it Mavididi? I mean, it was a great ball. Whoever stood it, it's a fantastic ball. And his reaction was brilliant, where he's giving him a little right hook to his jaw. But he more than made up for it. And I said 162 goals in 387 league appearances for the club, 177 in 445. That is incredible.
It's not bad, is it?
Give me that any day of the week, Tags.
Yeah, I think when again you analyse the 2 halves of the game, the second half, I talked about the tempo by Mavididi, who I thought was excellent. Getting down the line, putting balls in, not blind, but not like trying to manufacture a position where he can get the perfect ball off. So things were happening a lot quicker. And that's what Jamie Vardy strives on, is quick ball into the box. And okay, it's come from his actual goal itself comes from Vestergaard, the keeper making a good save and him being in the right place at the right time. But the chances you're talking about
He
come
wins the
from
free
Kirkwood.
kick, didn't he, on the right hand
Yeah,
side?
that's right. And Vestergaard, probably, you know, if you watch Vestergaard header, he's probably thinking I should score that himself.
Decent save from the keeper.
Yeah,
to be
decent
fair
save. And then, but Jamie Vardy, because he knows he's getting chances, he's in that position for to put that, you know, that parry away. And, you know, you'll never stop that. As long as he's got the legs, you'll never stop. And as long as I know he's got a good goal scoring record against Watford at home as well. Dan came out with one of the stats.
11 in 14.
Yeah.
11 in 14
So,
appearances.
you know,
same as he did, that he has against Arsenal. He hasn't scored more against any other club.
Yeah, there you go. And so as soon as he came on the pitch, you could see that it was only a matter of time before he was going to get on the score sheet.
The run for the the penalty as well was magnificent. And once he's got himself in front of the centre half, you know, there's no catching him.
No, and he did well, and it was obviously all day long a penalty, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, Backman knew that he's come out, as contact, the ball's gone past him. The only decision the referee had to make really was it a yellow card or not? And once you're on a yellow card, I don't think that situation where it's double jeopardy. It's not a red card in this day and age if you get the penalty. But he was always going to get a yellow card for that.
I think it was a right outcome.
Yeah. I mean, you were never one for penalties, really, Tony, were you, in your career? And Jamie Vardy there stepping up against an outfield player. I know on one of these shows or on Matchday Live, we've spoken to Matty Fright before. He's taken a penalty against an outfield player and says mentally, missed it, put it wide. But because mentally, it probably plays on your mind a little bit that you're thinking there is literally all the pressure suddenly is on you because you don't want to be the person that's either had a penalty saved or missed a penalty against an outfield player.
Yeah, it almost becomes too easy, Dan, doesn't it? I mean, you sort of almost start questioning yourself, like you got centre half in goal instead of the goalkeeper. And I think Jamie did exactly the right thing. It wasn't a perfect penalty, but he struck it really, really hard. And I think it was a case of just putting it, you know, either side of the goalie that he's not going to save it. But I liked his. You know, I call it a skill for the penalty. I mean, a lot of people would just sort of think, you know, he's been brought down and that, but there is a skill to it. You know, when you go into the box, there's a skill as in you delay your touch, and you know you can get to the ball a little bit earlier. And whether it's a defender or whether it's a goalkeeper, there's a real skill and an art to delaying the touch to the point where you know that the defender is going to wipe you out, or the goalkeeper, as in this case, going to wipe you out as well. And, you know, you can get so many penalties. I'm not talking about cheating. I'm not talking about faking and falling over. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about delaying the touch so that when the goalkeeper comes out, you know you're going to get there first. You poke the ball past the goalkeeper. He takes you out and you get the penalty. And, you know, once he got the ball, I don't think there was ever any doubt he was going to put the ball in the back of the net. But you do have to. I took a few penalties down, and I think the biggest thing with penalties is concentration. It's just for that minute to go. If you watch the best penalty takers, they go into a zone. They totally and utterly zone out. You know, you try not to sort of look at the goalkeeper jumping up and down. You've got to forget about the crowd who are all waving behind the goal and all that sort of stuff. You just got to go into your zone, get a good contact on the ball. And I think as long as you hit the ball well, then, you know, I think people put up with that. I think when you see the sort of slow run up and they jump up in the air and they try and do this and then they side foot the ball and the goalkeeper throws his cap on it, I think that's when fans get a little bit agitated. But as long as you put your foot through the ball, like what Jamie did, I think, you know, that's the best way to take a penalty.
I hate taking them. I took a few, missed a few, scored a few. I would have loved Tags' left foot, and then I would have put my foot straight through it. No one was stopping that.
It ended up in Rose.
Did you take any Tags?
No.
Not even in a shootout or anything?
No, I nearly did, but thankfully...
You were about number 11, were you?
No, in a sudden death shootout, I was next up, but Jules Gramondi missed for Arsenal, so I didn't have to take one. Funnily enough, because Emile Heskey wanted me to take it before him, and I says, you must be joking. You're a centre forward. Yeah. But you didn't take one in that game, did you, TC?
No, I was injured, Tags.
I was injured in that game.
Yeah, right. I didn't play in that once. But I know I never took the penalty in a shootout, as in there 5 penalties for each team. I never experienced that. That's how old I am. It was only just coming into football. But I did take, I think I probably took about 12, 13 penalties in my career. I probably scored about 6 or 7. But do you know what, boys? I didn't enjoy taking penalties. I found where it was all sort of a bit staged and the dead ball. I don't know. I just didn't get the same excitement of scoring a penalty as what I did in open play. To be fair to me, I did have Ray Stewart in my early days at West Ham, who was phenomenal. And then I had Julian Dix as well when I went back to West Ham. So I couldn't get hold of the ball to take him anyway. But I just didn't get that. I don't know about you, Ewan, whether you felt that way, but it's just not the quite same feeling as scoring in open play.
I just thought for me, Tone, it was just too much time to think about what I was going to do from
Absolutely,
that period of it being given to maybe the referee, the opposition complaining. By the time you've picked the ball up, put it down, it could be a minute and a half. All sorts of things are going through your mind. I remember taking one in a playoff final in 2002, and it was a shootout, and I didn't feel nowhere near the pressure because I'd scored the goal to get us into extra time, or scored the goal in extra time to take us to penalties. So I didn't feel as much pressure in taking that one, and luckily I scored, sent Nico Vassen the wrong way. But yeah, I didn't like taking him. Didn't like taking him.
Yeah, that's Jamie Vardy now on 7 for the season. Tony, he's the top scorer for Leicester. Iheanacho's next with 6. Then it's Dewsbury Hall and McAteer with 5 each. The goals are very much spread about in the squad at the moment this season, and that's a really good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. I don't think there's been an absolute battering for someone yet. It's not been like a 5 or a 6-0, unless I'm forgetting.
No, the highest victory was away at Southampton, the 4-1. But other than that,
other than that, it's all been sort of like single goal victories or 2 goals victories and that. So which tells you everything really. It tells you that teams are putting bodies behind in defence. They are playing sort of 11-man defence, trying to sort of say to Leicester, break us down and that. And when that happens, you need goals from other areas. When I've done the commentary at QPR recently, winning goals coming from Harry Winks, who obviously was suspended at the weekend. But you need the players to chip in and that. And of course, in an ideal world, you want a Jamie or a Kelechi to be on 15 league goals and smashing goals in every week. But it doesn't always work that way. And I think when you are sharing the goals around, I think that's a good sign as well, because the team's winning and the goals have been evenly distributed this year.
Yeah, 31 goals in 17. They're the second top scorers in the Championship, Gerry, behind Ipswich, who have got 36.
Yeah, and again, Ipswich.
The key is probably the against 10 in 17.
100%.
Well,
100%.
exactly. And I suppose the train of thought is, you have the ball for the majority of the game, then the opposition have less chances of getting shots on goal. So that's one factor. But I think also the back line has been, for the most part, very, very solid as far as not conceding goals. As far as the goals for tally, I think what you've got to remember is Ipswich brought in Kieran McKenna last year when they were in League One. So they've had their 12 months
down the road.
Down the road. Leicester 3 months down the road with Enzo Maresca, or however long it is, 4 months. And there's still more to come. There's still a lot more to come. And one day someone is going to get that drubbing that you're talking about, that 5-6-0.
What did you say? 31 goals scored. I mean, and those goals on Saturday for Jamie Vardy, they were his first goals since October the 7th, since the goal he scored against Stoke. So he's had a little bit of a drought. Hopefully he can go on the run now. But I mean, I love a stat. We all know that. You came out with a stat when I got in at sort of 4:30, 4:45, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, so after the 70th minute in Championship games this season for Leicester, the aggregate score is 15-1.
That's bad.
So in the last 20 minutes of games, Leicester have scored 15, only conceded 1. That one was that brilliant free kick a couple of weeks ago against Middlesbrough, which obviously gave the home side all 3 points in that one. But 15 goals for the Foxes, though, in the last 20 minutes, 1 conceded. And Tony, that really, if you take away those 15 goals, it didn't go that far in the research. But if you take away those, Leicester will be, well, they certainly, I don't think, would be top of the table anyway, that's for sure. They've gained so many points. I mean, almost half of their goals have come after the 70th minute.
And it's an incredible stat as well. And it tells you an awful lot about this team, doesn't it? Because I think, once you get past 70, 75 minutes, in most games, invariably players do start to get a little bit tired. When you get tired, you lose concentration, and that's when the mistakes come in. So for Leicester not to have conceded a goal, forget the goals they've scored, which is in itself is a fantastic stat. It's what Tag said about that defensive side of it, where the defenders, they're not switching off. They're not conceding stupid goals. And unfortunately, sadly, we saw an awful lot of that last season with players switching off, individual mistakes, collective mistakes. And ultimately, that's what cost Leicester. And that's why they got relegated, but through conceding silly goals. It's not been like that this year. Now, whether the manager's had an input in that, whether it's just, in general, it's been the same back four, that helps as well. There's a lot of factors that come into it. But I think as a team, I think they deserve great praise for that, because it is very, very easy to switch off and get tired after 70 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's the main issue, is teams are working so hard to stop Leicester from scoring that eventually their legs just give way.
Get mentally and physically tired.
And then, you've seen on Saturday, Iheanacho goes off. You've got fresh legs in Jamie Vardy, who's, running around, even more so than Kelechi and Nacho to try and get on the score sheet. And eventually, bingo, it works. So I'm not saying it's a ploy from Enzo Maresca so we're going to score the majority of the goals in the last quarter of the game or however long or the last, but you've got to look at it and think that Leicester are capable of scoring at any given time in a game while they're under pressure. I was away at Rotherham when Rotherham equalised to make it 1-1. And straight after that goal, Leicester just took control of the game. And eventually McAteer comes up with a winner. And, again, you've seen that on Saturday, second half. Leicester just took full control. Watford offered nothing attacking-wise of any quality. And then eventually teams are just run out of steam. The legs are just giving up. And eventually those gaps appear in the right areas of the pitch. And thankfully, Jimmy Vardy's still banging them in.
Yeah, we've had a question actually on Facebook. It's interesting as you were listing the players out. Andy Fisher says, any idea when Tom Cannon will make his Leicester debut? We get to see him obviously in a Leicester shirt. Hopefully that is soon.
I'm sure the manager's, wants to get him on the pitch. He's back, he's fit, he's ready to go.
Am I right? Has he been on the bench?
Twice.
So I sort of said on Saturday, if Leicester are cruising this game, you might see him for 10 minutes, last 5-10 minutes.
Give him a run out.
Give him a run out, even on 90 minutes. Get him on for the 5 minutes extra time, whatever. But I'm sure the manager's desperate to get him on, because obviously the sooner he's on the pitch, the sooner he gets up the match pace. You've got players going away to the African Cup of Nations this early on next year. So he needs Tom Cannon to get the big game ready for when that happens.
Well, and you said it after your fantastic start that had me gobsmacked. 9 games in 33 days now.
Yeah.
From
starting Wednesday.
Started with Sheffield Wednesday on Wednesday and then finishing on, when is it? January the 1st. Do you know who it is? That's irrelevant. That's a lot of games. That is a lot of games to but game every 4 days or something like that.
Huddersfield at home.
So the squad depth will be used, and rightly so.
Just to interject, sorry, and I think Enzo's style of football will become even more important, because it's the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to go through this 9 games in 30 odd days. And so this, the style of Enzo now and the stat that Dan's pulled out, well, the goals after 70 minutes will become even more important.
Can you imagine playing against a team who average 70% possession every game? You get mentally tired.
Yeah, you think that's...
And that's when mistakes come in, creep in, players fall asleep, you let people pull off you. It can't be easy.
No.
Can't be easy.
No. Yeah, it will certainly suit Leicester. Right, let's do the first of our Lurdles this evening. That's a chance for those of you at home to get involved with the show. We're going to play a snippet of commentary of a Leicester City goal. You've got to tell me who scored it and who it was against. The first clip is only 2 seconds long, so I'll do clue number 2 in a couple of minutes. So we'll do clue number 1 and 2 close to each other. So here's number 1.
The wide position, Dickov.
Dickov?
Dickov.
The wide position, Dickov.
So that's clue number 1, which gives you a little bit of an idea of the eras, of course.
See, I thought you'd have got a clip of one of my goals for Leicester for this one.
Okay.
Because 30 years today, I made my debut for the club.
Did you really, Ewan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. October the 27th, is it? Not November the 27th?
Yeah.
Wolves at home. Yeah, made my debut for the club.
We should have done that
You
then,
should-
really,
you should have
shouldn't we?
done.
With his 2 goals.
That is bad. That is terrible. Between the 3 of yous, and the other 2 that the punters can't see next door.
Well, as my co-host, you should be coming ideas generation,
Well,
and you should be telling me at 12 o'clock today.
That'd been too easy for me then to
Yeah,
go,
well,
wouldn't it?
that's true. That's true. Maybe the Jenga
See, you
later
should have
on.
got one of my headers against Wolves on the day.
What about your hat trick? Oh no, you didn't quite.
All right. I saved that for Derby.
Yeah. Right. I'll do clue number 2. Straight away.
Man, you're a bad man.
Sorry about that. I'll do clue number 2 for our Lardle pretty much straight away, and then we'll get some reaction from some of the Leicester players at the weekend. So this is clue 2 of our Lardle. We're looking for the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against. Bubba has already guessed Vardy against Spurs, very much tongue-in-cheek. Right, this is clue number 2.
The wide position, Dicker. Even wider is Impey now. And goes over the outstretched leg of the defender.
One more time.
Do you play with Dickov tags?
The wide position, Dicker. Even wider is Impey now. And goes over the outstretched leg of the defender.
So there are your 2 clues so far for Lardle. We want the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against. And we say there is always a link as well, of course, as we know by now, a year and a half into doing our Lardles. Let's get some...
I can't remember.
And in that 18 months, I think... How many times? You've got it a few times, to be fair. Because you try and second guess.
I guessed one a couple of weeks ago, didn't I?
Yeah, but not today so far yet. Not after 2 guesses. Have you got anything?
Yeah, I've got 2 names.
Okay.
I've got.
I'll have a look in a minute. Let's get some reaction from some of the Leicester players. This is how they reacted on social media over the weekend. Mads Hermansen said big win after the international break. Important. We keep this going now. Back to winning ways. Absolutely, back to winning ways. I can't figure out if that's, either Ricardo or Jamie Vardy. And then Kiernan Dewsbury back. A nice way to mark my 100th appearance for LCFC. The next 30 are enormous. Thank you for your support. That's a nice segue into what we're going to talk about next, which is Kiernan Dewsbury, Tony Cottee. 100 appearances for the Foxes. He's very, very much the main man. Would you say this season he's got 11 goal involvements? That's way more than anyone else so far. 5 goals, 6 assists. Hit the post again at the weekend. He's a real integral cog in that midfield.
I think he's the creative force in that midfield, isn't he? I mean, there's some very good players. You know, we all know how good Wilf is. We know how brilliant Harry Winks has been this year when Chowdhury plays, Cottee, you know. But if you want the creation, the skill, you know, just something a little bit different, the sort of the forward pass, you know, I think, you know, I've been a big fan of Kiernan ever since he got in the team. You know, he showed that he could play Premier League football. It wasn't as if he got in the team for Leicester in the Premier League and we all went, well, no, he's not good enough. You know, we all looked and admired his performances and that. And, you know, I think he's a wonderful player. You know, I think he's integral to Leicester doing what we all want them to do this year, which is to, you know, bounce back immediately, get promotion and that. I think you've got to try and keep him fit because he's just got that little bit of stardust, that little bit of magic where he makes things happen. He creates. He can score as well. He hit the post, didn't he, at the weekend? Could easily have had a goal. And I'm a huge, huge fan. I just think, as I say, he's a little bit different to the other quality midfield players that are at the club.
I mean, he was unlucky on Saturday. He didn't score. You know, he was really unlucky with his free kick. I mean, Bachmann, he don't move. If that's a little bit further to Bachmann's right, it's a goal. He's not getting anywhere near it. He's unlucky with the one that hits the post. We've always said he's got a fantastic engine. You know, he's box to box. He's got that little bit of pace to get away from people as well. I think what he's done this year that he probably hasn't done up to now in his Leicester City career is he's getting in the box far more often because of the way the club plays, because of the freedom and the licence that the manager's given him and whoever's playing on that right-hand side, whether it be Ndidi or Casadei, you know, they've got that licence to get forward, to get in the box. We said after the first game of the season when he scored 2 goals against Coventry, he could be the best player in this division by a country mile if he wants to be, because he's got everything. He's got everything.
Yeah, man of the match. He was head and shoulders the best player on the pitch. Oh, unreal performance. I don't know why they don't use that free kick more often.
It's a good free kick, Tags.
And if you actually look at it, I think James Justin plays it behind him a little bit too much, and he has to manufacture his body shape to get that shot off. And I think if he actually backheels it square, it's not as difficult today. And then he can pick either corner, and that's why the keeper is rooted to the floor, because by moving the ball to the side of the wall,
you can corners.
You can use both corners. Yeah. And I think that was the only corner he could go for, was because James Justin backheels it slightly behind, back up towards his own goal.
So he's got to adjust his body.
He's got to adjust his body, and he can't really go for two corners as such. But I think it's a really good free kick option that a lot of teams don't use, and I don't know why.
I tell you what, James Justin puts a good disguise on it. I think he puts a good disguise, because when I saw the highlights, I actually thought that he was going to hit it.
Yeah.
I think he does really well, and to disguise it how he does, and then a little back heel. But
for me, it was head and shoulders the best player.
Was he? Right.
Yeah, and that was his 100th Leicester appearance. Congratulations to him. Hopefully, there'll be many, many more hundreds.
I tell you what, this Yerdle better be good, because that's another one you could have used.
It is,
isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think you might be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
We'll do clue number 3 in a minute. We'll get some more reaction though from some of the players though over the weekend. Starting with Casey McAteer, obviously the winger. He's started the last couple of games, hasn't he? Which has been good after that injury that he had. Back on track. I think that sums it up pretty nicely. The next one is Ricardo. So the other one was Jamie Vardy. He says back on track as well. It was key to restart the season with a win, especially with a buzzing King Power Stadium. Let's go, lads. Full focus on the upcoming games. And finally, Fatawu, great to be back with a win. The journey continues. Now, the journey does indeed continue. It continues into Wednesday evening, of course. This is pretty much the start of the festive season, as we've already said. 9 games in 33 days, starting from Wednesday, with a trip to Hillsborough to face Sheffield Wednesday. Right there, at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is a QR code. If you scan that, it'll take you exactly where you need to go, because this game is available for everybody, even those in the UK, to watch with us on Fox's Hub and Matchday Live. Our coverage starts at 6:45. We've got the full game then available for you to watch from 7:45, of course. It costs just £10, so it's a bargain for all the build-up that you get and the game itself. Scan that QR code or head to lcfc.com/Fox's Hub for all the details of that one. But yeah, another chance for 3 points against a side really struggling in the Championship so far this season.
I mean, you would think so, but do you know what? I'm not going to tempt fate. And I've got loads of stats here that would suggest that it should be an away banker, to be fair. But we know what this Championship season's like, with teams that are at the bottom can take points off teams at the top. You know, Huddersfield did it to Southampton at the weekend. Rotherham did it against Leeds. But when you think they've got one win in their 17 games, they've got lowest scorers in the division, the worst defensive record along with Huddersfield. I mean, it should be a 3 points. If you're taking games monthly, how a points tally that you should get from each game, this should be one that you should be targeting 3 points from.
Let's do clue number 3 for our Lardle before we carry on talking about Sheffield Wednesday. Bubba's had another go. An educated guess, I would say, Bubba. He says Tags against Sheffield Wednesday.
No.
You have scored a couple of goals against them.
I did.
But
not in this one.
Not in this one, but good guess.
How do you know that, Tags?
Nevertheless.
Well,
how do you know you didn't score in this one?
Because Paul Dickov wasn't playing in that game.
Right.
Sean Guilford on Facebook has guessed Steve Claridge. That is incorrect. Stuart Russell has guessed Paul Dickov against Leeds, or Dickov's opening goal against Arsenal back in 2004. All of those are incorrect. So we'll play clue number 3.
In the wide position, Dickov. Even wider is Impey now. And goes over the outstretched leg of the defender and hooks the ball across here. Oh, fantastic goal!
The penny may have dropped with Ewan. I'll play it one more time for those of you at home. We need the goal scorer and the team it was scored against.
Wide position, Dickov. Even wider is Impey now. Goes over the outstretched leg of the defender and hooks the ball across here. Oh, fantastic goal!
Yes, Ewan and Gerry have both got it sat next to me there. So clue number 3, we still haven't had anyone that's got it after 1 or 2. So everyone at home, you can still draw with our 2 experts who have both got it right. We need the team, though, that it was scored against from both of you. That's wrong. The team that Gerry's guessed, and that is correct. Ewan, well done. Tony, yeah, the game on Wednesday then. Obviously, you look at Leicester this season, when they've gone to teams that are, well, towards the bottom end of the table. I'm thinking Rotherham. That was a game that, as Gerry's referenced already this evening, went towards, I think, the 84th minute. Leicester got the winner in that one. There was Huddersfield. Again, that was Mavadidi. Yeah. That was about 75, roughly. So they're never going to be easy. I don't think any away game in the division is easy, is it? And they will have to grind things out a little bit.
Yeah, and the QPR game that I done as well, done exactly the same thing. QPR down the bottom, weren't they? And they had to work really hard for that. It's tough. I would liken it to if you like, an FA Cup sort of 3rd or 4th round game where you get the draw and you look at the draw and you think, well, we know who the favourites are in that game. We know who should win that game, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win that game. And going to Sheffield Wednesday, I must admit, I'm a bit disappointed with Sheffield Wednesday. I think at the start, it was all that nonsense with Darren Moore that went on, and following on from the promotion, and you're thinking, they'll give a real good account of themselves, and for many, many reasons, they've been marooned down the bottom. They've had some really poor results. Was it 1 win all season? It's not looking good for them. But having said all that, it doesn't mean to say they're going to roll over and Leicester are going to go up there and stroll it. I hope they do. I hope they get their 4 or 5-0 victory that I was talking about earlier. But I've got a feeling this will be a tough game. Going to Hillsborough, I'm sure the boys would echo this. It's never, ever an easy place to go to. You've got very, very passionate fans. I'm sure there'll be a nice northerly wind blowing as well on Wednesday night for the boys to look forward to. It's going to be a tough game for Leicester. But if the attitude's right, and I'll come back to the cup games, if you get the attitude right, like it is in the FA Cup, they will definitely win the game. Whether that's in the 75th, 80th minute, doesn't matter. But I'm confident Leicester will get the 3 points. But I'm also confident it will not be an easy game.
I think going into this game, under normal circumstances, i.e. Sheffield Wednesday not being in the bottom 3, this would have been seen as probably a bit of a free hit for Sheffield Wednesday in regards to, all right.
They're 10 points adrift of safety.
Yeah, which is even worse. But now, every point, every game counts for them. So the pressure is going to be ramped up on Sheffield Wednesday, even though the pressure is already on Leicester to try and, get back on some sort of run after losing 2. Even for Sheffield Wednesday, every game now in this run, these 9 games, is massive, and they're going to be expected to, to try and pick points up. So again, mindset important going into Wednesday night. Don't give them any encouragement whatsoever. They're down there for a reason. They're under pressure. They've got a new manager who's just come in. They're under pressure to try and get a result. Don't give them any encouragement. And that's all about your mindset. Simple as that.
This is a team that's got 6 points from their 17 games. They've lost 13 of those 17. If you're going to win the league, if you're going to get automatic promotion, and you mentioned it then, Leicester have been to Huddersfield and grinded a 1-0 out. Southampton failed to do that the weekend. They went to Rotherham and scored a late goal to win it 2-1. Leeds failed to do that on Friday. And I was looking at, and I know we're talking about Sheffield Wednesday on Wednesday. You look at the club's next 4 home games. Plymouth 19th, Millwall 18th, Rotherham 22nd, and Huddersfield 21st. Next 4 home games. Got a great chance to just open that gap, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a big game. It's a big game. As Tony said, going to Hillsborough under normal circumstances is not an easy task, especially when that stadium is full. It's an iconic stadium in some ways. They used to, hold the semi-finals of the FA Cup there. That's how iconic a stadium that is.
That's where the club won the replay against Borough.
That's
wasn't it?
right.
Yeah,
With a
yeah,
replay final
yeah.
against Middlesbrough.
That Stevie Claridge scored.
Stevie Claridge. So it's an iconic stadium, but obviously, you know, I live in that part of the world and I'm surrounded by Sheffield Wednesday supporters. So I know
It's a big club, Tags.
it is, mate. And I tell you, they're not happy. They're not looking forward to Wednesday night unless they have to go there and make sure that come 10 o'clock on Wednesday night that, you know, they're still in the doldrums, so to speak. The fans, I mean.
Yeah, which obviously is. I mean, you're looking at the table early. If they can get the win, and it is still an if, Tony. It doesn't matter if it's a side that's only won once all season. But if Leicester get the win, that would be 15 in 18 at the start of a championship season. I mean, if it was 14 in 18, it'd still be very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, the form has been fantastic, hasn't it? I mean, every time we spoke on a Monday night, you know, invariably we're talking about good performances, 3 points. And the hard part of this championship, which we spoke about right at the start, is consistency. Because it's such a, you know, I felt going into this season that this was going to be one of the hardest championships ever, because there was 3 big clubs come down from the Premier League, including Leicester, and 3 big clubs come up from Division League One as well. So I felt it was going to be a really, really competitive league. And for Leicester to have done what they've done so far is fantastic. All of which doesn't mean anything if you don't get promotion. You know, I was thinking to myself earlier, we've seen a club like, I remember Manchester United back in the 80s, they won the first 10 games in the top flight and they never went on. They didn't win the league. I don't even think they qualified for Europe and that. So, you know, teams, I'm not wishing this on Leicester, obviously, but I'm just saying it's no point in having a good start and then not seeing it through. You know, it's been really, really consistent and good so far, but they've just got to keep following it up. And you've got to make sure that you don't throw in any banana skins of your own making. In other words, go to Hillsborough, put in a poor performance, get beat by the bottom team, and then everyone starts thinking, oh, here we go, type of thing. You know, just keep doing what they're doing. They've been fantastic. And if Leicester carry on doing what they're doing, they will get promoted.
Lads, I got carried away again on the weekend. After the club's win against Watford, I started looking back at that Reading 2005-2006 season. 106 points, a records tally in the second tier. After 17 games, they were 4 points worse off than what Leicester are now.
But you're not getting carried away.
Do you know the most surprising stat though out of all of this is they've not drawn a game yet.
I know.
And let's hope that doesn't happen Wednesday.
Yeah.
But you're better off winning 4 and losing 1 than drawing 3, aren't you?
You just expect to draw a game somewhere along the line, you know, and it just hasn't happened.
In 17
games, you know, it's crazy.
Let's do our 4th and final Ladle Clue. Again, we want the goal scorer and the team it's scored against. We've had another guess over on Facebook from Sean. Sean says Brian Dean against Man United. I'm afraid that isn't right either. Sean, everyone will get the goal scorer here, so we just need the team after it.
The wide position, Dicker. Even wider is Impey now. And goes over the outstretched leg of the defender and hooks the ball across here. Oh, fantastic goal! Muzzy, is it? What a goal from the Turkish international. That's right out of the top drawer.
Yes, and there's a reason we've picked that goal, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. We'll see if anyone can get the guess in of who the team was. But that was in a promotion-winning campaign as well, wasn't it, from Muzzy, is it? Right, it's time, though, to hand the reins over to my co-host this evening, Iwan Roberts. This is where we go around the world. We could go anywhere from Argentina to Scotland. Take it away, Iwan. Where are we going this evening?
We're going to La Liga, and I know Tags wasn't too impressed with this statistic when we were talking about it earlier. Cadiz 0, Real Madrid 3, and Jude Bellingham getting his 14th goal in 15 appearances in all competitions for Real Madrid. And Ronaldo 13 in his first 15, Di Stefano 13 in his first 15, so he's above those two absolute legends. He's got 12 league goals. No, he's got 11 league goals in 12 appearances. And when you think, right, he only scored 24 goals for Dortmund in 132 games. So I didn't think he had this amount of goals in his. I didn't think he had this in his game. I knew his physicality, strong, energetic, box to box. didn't think he'd score anything like the amount of goals that he has done. And just another one as well, Harry Kane, 18 goals in 12 Bundesliga appearances he scored on Friday night for the German Giants. I mean, it's ridiculous, absolutely mad numbers. But you came out with a good point.
The actual stat itself is nothing
impressive,
short of phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I'm not dissing that. What I'm saying is,
15 games.
15 games into his Real Madrid career. Come on, it's not a stat. It's not a stat worth.
I think it is if you compare it to.
It's a
stat a
comparing
centre-half won't
apples with
appreciate.
oranges there. You really are. Even though, let's wait until this young man, goes on a season. At the end of the season, his first season, say, the stat itself is phenomenal. It really is, and
better than Rule.
And he's a phenomenal player. But 15 games, give me a break, please.
But 14 goals, Tag.
Yeah, I
See,
know.
TC, you'll appreciate it,
midfield.
TC.
Yeah,
You'll
but let's see if he
appreciate
can
it.
do it for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then go, no, that's a start. Worth sitting up and putting your coffee down, and reading. That is a start. Not that 15 games. No, sorry. Sorry.
Spoken like a true centre-half.
Go on, TC. Go on, TC.
Yeah, you and I can see where Tags is coming from, and I think what I would add to what Tags is trying to say is that we've seen plenty of players over the seasons that come into the Premier League or the Championship, score bundles of goals, before Christmas, and then after Christmas it don't quite work out, and then the second season they get 3 goals and then they disappear and you don't hear of them again. Now, I'm not in any shape or form saying that's what's going to happen to Harry Kane and to Jude Bellingham, because in my opinion they are two sensational players. I agree with Tags not to get too carried away with the stats at the moment, but what you can say, it's been incredible starts there. I've got to say, I'm not surprised about Harry Kane in any shape or form, because we all knew Harry Kane scores goals season after season after season. I think the one I am surprised a little bit about is Jude Bellingham. Now, whether that's just because we perhaps don't see as much as Jude, we didn't, he went to Dortmund. I didn't sort of watch and follow his career too much at Dortmund. And when he went to Real Madrid, I'm thinking, wow, that's a big step up, But has he stepped up to the plate, hasn't he? I mean, it's been an incredible start to him. And we want both of them to continue. You might not, Ewan, and perhaps you don't as well, Tags, being the Irish boy that you are. But with the Euros coming next summer, me and Dan want them to carry on doing what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just 1 goal short of his complete league tally at Dortmund. Tags is still not impressed.
I think he's just jealous, Tony, isn't he, as you're saying?
No, he's a fantastic player. He's an unbelievable player. The pair of them are, as Tony said, unbelievable. But it's not. And you can make stats up out of anything, really. That's what they're doing here. They've just picked a 15-game window.
It's interesting that a young midfielder who hasn't had the goal scoring record previously has gone to a club that's had probably the best ever players.
4 goals for Birmingham.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable. It's an unbelievable start. It's an unbelievable start on its own, and that's where it should stay for me.
I think the other thing as well,
you can't compare him to Stefano and Ronaldo.
No, I know.
Just compare him to Stefano and Ronaldo when he finishes his career at Real Madrid, and then game by game, goal by goal. That's when you do it. Not after 15 games, even though in itself.
We see a young player at Man City start on fire last season. He went on, he became the Premier League top goal scorer. He's just got to 50 Premier League goals as well, quicker than anyone else in Premier League history. That's when you start to judge people and say, wow, this is a top player. The initial stats, as you say, are brilliant, but let's hope he can just continue.
He's a centre forward.
Thank you, Tony.
He's not a midfielder.
Thank you. The voice of reason and experience right there, legend.
I'm surprised at you, TC, I'm telling you.
I'm
not surprised at him at all.
I want the goals to be scored, but I do understand a little bit. I understand where you're both coming from. Stats are brilliant, just that little bit of caution from Taggart. I understand both points of view.
Yeah, that is not where I expected Globetrotting to go tonight. I'll be honest with you, but there we go.
Good one.
Yeah, let's get the answer then to our Lurdle this evening. These two got it after 3 guesses. Well done to Michael Julian on Facebook, who has got it correct after 4 guesses. Phil Howard, well done, Phil. You said Muzzy at Grimsby. Lewis says his overhead kick. Cooperative Cool Chris says Muzzy is it versus Grimsby Town. What a goal. And obviously we're picking it because of that incredible overhead kick from Alejandro Garnacho at the weekend for Manchester United. Right, we are coming towards the end of the show. That means we are, 10 minutes away from the saying goodbye to you. These two are frantically getting their notes sorted and ready because it is time to introduce our football Jenga, which is where the 4 of us go head to head to do an answer on a theme. I'm going to get the question sent to me very shortly before we go and see our predictions. Okay, so name. So after Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall made his 100th appearance for Leicester City, name any player who has got more than 100 appearances for Leicester City. So 100 or more appearances in a Leicester City shirt. And we will all go head to head and do our answers in that in just a moment. Before we do, and while these guys have a little bit of a head start against me, I can run through some of the predictions that we do every week. The 4 of us put forward our predictions for 5 games that have taken place in the Championship. I think it's a barren week, I'll be honest with you. No one got any points in this first game. No one predicted Plymouth to beat Sunderland at home, so nothing for anyone there. A reminder, if someone gets the score bang on, they get 3 points. If they get the result right, they get 1. No one gets anything there either. I would have done, but for a 90 plus 11 minutes, I think it was, a winner for Cardiff. A game that you won was that?
97, 99.
Stoke against Blackburn. Tony Cottee, well done, Tony. You were the only one that predicted an away victory in that game there, so Tony gets a point. Nothing for anyone else. Swansea 2, Hull 2. Tony again, the only person that's got a point there, so he's on 2 with the rest of us on nothing so far. It's been a poor week. West Brom against Ipswich Town. Nobody predicted a West Brom win at home to Ipswich. That was good for the Foxes. That means they're 3 clear of second place Ipswich, but it means no points for our 4 panellists, which means that is not good reading at all. No points this week for me. No points for Gerry. No points for Ewan. 2 for Tony, which means he is at joint top with me. So well done, Tony. From last season, when I think what were we, bottom and second bottom, we're now first
we're
and
doing
second.
Our own predictions, Dan. That's why we're doing so well this year.
Yes, exactly. Right, it is time for Football Jenga then. The theme is any Leicester player who has made more than 100 appearances for the football club. So is it 100 or more than 100? Because 100 or more, I will then start and I will say Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall.
Which way we go?
We'll go around to Gerry.
Vardy.
That'll be you, Tony, please.
Yeah, is it so as in all games, like cup as well, or is it just league games?
Yes, all competitions,
all
30
competition.
or more.
I will go for Steve Walsh.
Kasper Schmeichel.
Gerry Taggart.
Indeed.
Matthew Elliott.
Andy King.
Andy King.
Has to have done.
Yeah. Here for 20 years.
Muzzy, is it? Since we're talking about him.
Mark Albrighton.
Good show.
Neil Lennon.
Wes Morgan.
Ricardo Pereira.
Christian Fuchs.
Oh, good show.
Ooh.
Just written it down as well.
It's not just Premier League, Dan. It's like going all-time lists. Are we talking?
Yes, I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Okay. I will go Robbie Savage.
I'm going a bit old school now. Steve Thompson.
Kelechi Iheanacho.
Gary Mills.
Gary Parker.
Nicky Whitlow.
James Maddison.
Steve Guppy.
Emil Heskey.
Julian Joachim.
You panicked for a
I
second
did.
there. Johnny Evans.
Danny Drinkwater.
I'm going for myself.
Gavin Ward.
This is an awfully long way. Right, that's you and out. That leaves 3 of us. That's pretty good there. That's one of the longest we've gone as a 4. We've only got a couple of minutes left. It doesn't matter. We can run over if we have to. Yuri Tielemans.
Ooh. Nice. Simon Grayson.
Alan Smith.
Alan Birchinall.
That got you thinking, didn't it?
Frank Sinclair.
It's about 3 seasons, isn't it, really?
Gary Lineker.
It's a gamble, I think. Harvey Barnes. Must have got to 100. Yeah.
Peter Shilton. What are you laughing at, TC?
I had it on my list. Cross it off my list. Right, this is a blast from the past. I think Frank Worthington.
Keith Weller.
Oh, that was the one I
The
was.
one on my list.
Gordon Banks.
Oh, good shout, Tex. Right, this is a bit of a pun. I'm going to say Casey Keller.
Good shout,
Oh,
TC.
wow. Arthur Chandler.
His record, is he?
Record goal
Yeah,
scorer.
yeah, he's got to be, isn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who said that? He said that.
No.
No, me.
If in doubt.
This is going on, this one. It's a good one.
Matty Fryer.
Wow.
I don't know whether we've said this name or not. I'm going Danny Simpson.
I had him on my list as well. Went for Gavin Ward.
Hines. He's like, I think he's
Soup or baked beans?
Hines. I think I'm sure it's Hines. It's like the third top scorer, or maybe even second for the club.
Vardy's third.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
When you said that.
Richie Wellens.
How are you plucking them from everywhere?
I don't know whether we said this or not. My old mate who I see at QBR, Andy Impey.
This is without doubt the longest we've ever gone. Gonna have to be guessing territory here. Not necessarily a guess, but he was here for a few years, wasn't he? David Nugent. Yeah, we'll have to hurry up a little bit, Gerry.
Jack Hobbs. I don't think he did. Oh, he did.
Wow.
Oh, thanks. What a shout. David Nish.
Nishy.
Absolutely.
Say that again, please, Tony.
David Nish, isn't it? David Nish?
Yeah, Nish, yeah.
How are we still going here?
Struggling now.
Iwan Roberts.
Can't believe I didn't say it myself.
He did.
Deary me.
Yeah, we'll have to hurry you, I'm afraid, Gerry. Very little thinking time.
Robert Hoof. Could be me, right? Yeah.
So half a relief. Tony, me and you, mate.
Yeah, Dan, I've crossed out every single person on my list. I've got nothing left, so I've run out. Run out.
Try and pluck somebody from thin air.
James Justin.
Oh yeah, what a shout!
Has he?
Yeah, he definitely must have done. No. I thought, yeah, injuries, I guess. Yeah, he's been here a good few. 2019, he was signed.
It's 2 years.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Do I have to get one to win? A gamble again, but Riyad Mahrez.
God, I can't believe nobody got him.
Yeah.
Well done, Dan.
Thank you, Tony. That was good. That we're 5 minutes over our allotted time here. You guys will be charging overtime, won't you, for the
I
season?
can't believe I didn't tell myself.
Yeah, right. Thank you to Tony, to Ewan, and to Gerry. Don't forget, on Wednesday, we'll get this up on your screen again for you. The game at Hillsborough against Sheffield Wednesday. It's a 7:45 kickoff. That means we're live with Matchday Live from 6:45. The game is available for everybody, even those of you in the UK, to watch. It only costs £10 as well. So all you need to do is scan that QR code in the bottom right of your corner with your phone camera. If you don't want to do that and you want to just do it the traditional old-fashioned way, head to ltfc.com/FoxesHub. You can order that game, only £10. It'll be well worth it. Hopefully seeing Leicester making it 15 wins out of 18 at the start of the season. As I said, big thanks to Tony Cottee, to Iwan Roberts, and to Gerry, whose headphones off. He's done. He's given up. He can't believe he didn't say Riyad Mahrez. Good night, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you all on Wednesday.